how's it going, all you most amazing people? We are your hosts, Landon, do not scare me, and
Eamon, do not scare me, because you guys think we're siblings.
Oh yeah, so we have the same last name.
No, it's actually Eamon Hassan, don't worry about it. But yeah, I'm excited for this one. Ready to go.
I'm excited for this one. So this is stories submitted by you guys. If you want to be a part of the next series, make sure you submit your stories, your scary stories, in the comment section below.
This is coming straight from the dad that sings siblings.
I really feel like you guys are enjoying this series, so we're gonna keep it going on as long as it continues to be popular and you guys hit the like button as well. Alright, so this right here is the top 10 scary stories ever told that might be real, part 8.
Starting us off with number 10 is The Gift, and this one was shared with us by Tiffany Kendall. I'm sorry if I butchered your last name. But either way, she said, my story is I have the ability to see into the spiritual world ever since I was a little kid. So I've always been scared of the dark. I've always slept with a light on in my room, and I was in high school when this happened. I was trying to fall asleep, but I was having a hard time, so I rolled over on my stomach to try and fall asleep. It was about 15 minutes later, and I was about to fall asleep when all of a sudden my head was turned into my pillow, and I felt hands around my neck and something on my back. I struggled for 2 minutes as I was being smothered by my pillow and fearing for my life. Now, I have a guardian angel. I've met him twice in his human form, and he has saved my life more times than I can count. He showed up and threw what was on me off of me. I sat up instantly trying to get my breath into my lungs as tears stung my eyes. I looked to wherever it was as it crashed into my dresser across the room. I was met with glowing blood red eyes, and the body was black. It growled at me and said, "This is not over," and fled out the closed window next to it. Shaken, I ran to my sister's room and slept in her bed for the rest of the night. I told her what happened and she knew about my gift. I still sleep with a light on even at 26 years old. Tiffany, I feel like this is like the worst lucid dream anyone could ever have, except it's not a dream. The nightmare was very physically present. I've honestly never met anyone that has a gift or like ability, so what does that even feel like? I mean, what does that even look like? I get you on another level, it's not even funny. I've always hated the dark, and I always sleep with a little nightlight as well. No shame, we can all admit that. Keep the nightlight going and keep that guardian angel close so we can't have this devil demon visit you ever again.
Number 9, here's a story about when my mom lived in a haunted house. When I was not born, my mom was living in a haunted farmhouse. She had 3 sons. One day my mom was making dinner. 2 of my brothers, Christian and Jamie, were in the kitchen, and the other brother, Daniel, was in the living room sitting on the couch. Suddenly he felt hard poking. Someone or something was hitting and hurting him. When his mom came back in the living room to give him his dinner, he was laying on the floor with all these scratches and bruises. Every single day, something happened. Okay, what do you mean by every single day something happened? I mean, is this real life right now? That is absolutely terrifying. How long did your mom live in that haunted house for? Because as soon as I got like just one scratch on my body, I'm getting the heck out of there. I'm getting away from all that paranormal activity that's going on. I'm grabbing my Game Boy and my Pokemon Red, and I'm gone. I'm running faster than Forrest Gump. People are gonna be saying, "Run, Landon, run." And then we gotta remake the whole movie.
At number 8, we have The Person. This one gave me the creeps and was shared by Elizabeth Wilkins, and she said, my dad is one of the most non-believers in the paranormal. This incident scared and still baffles him. My dad and I were waiting at the train station in Port Augusta in South Australia. It was midnight. Now I was waiting for it to get back to work. We were getting a little concerned as it was running late, and I wasn't sure what to do as phone coverage was poor, so we saw at the end of the platform there was a person sitting waiting for the train. I figured we should ask if they knew how long the train will be. We both started walking over and getting closer, and we were only 5 meters away, and this person literally evaporated. I looked at my dad, who was dumbfounded, and said, there's no way, he was just there. It's been almost 7 years, and my dad says that it changed his point of view on the paranormal forever. I love when a story has a non-believer that becomes a believer. Honestly, if it was midnight and I was at an empty-ish train station with barely any coverage, I would be freaking out already. So the fact this person literally evaporated in front of your eyes is actually giving me goosebumps. I take the train every day for work, and honestly I'm so happy I wasn't you at that point, no offense. Evaporating train ghosts are just A hard no from me. Filling our number 7 slot is the clown. Just the thought of clowns has been so demonized so much for me now, I can never look at them as cute or like entertaining characters, and apparently neither can Francesca Gears. This is what she shared with us. When I was 3, it was the night before Halloween and I was taking a bath and my sister was watching it in the next room, and after I was done, I came into the room and saw the part where the kid loses the boat into the sewer, and mind you, I was 3. I went to bed and I was dreaming of a clown that didn't look anything like Pennywise, and then I woke up screaming and then I saw the clown, but not Pennywise, right in front of me staring at me. Then I screamed so loud I woke my parents up. My sister asked what was wrong and I said there was a clown right in front of me. I had that happen for 5 more years and I forgot about it, and then I was watching one of your serial killer videos and then I found the man of the clown I was dreaming about when I was younger, and I was dreaming and seeing John Wayne Gacy Jr. Mind you, I was 3, I'd never heard of him before, and I'm still terrified of clowns. I'm now 12 and I hope I get to be in one of these videos. Love the channel. Love you. It's so weird that you dreamt about John Wayne Gacy when you'd never heard of him, but they say you can only actually dream about faces you've seen in real life, so maybe you saw a picture of him or a show about him in passing on TV and that's where it entered your subconscious, but I'm no psychologist. I'm actually genuinely worried about whether you dreamed that you saw him or if he was actually in your room about to kill you, but your scream and your parents coming in just made him abort mission. Who knows?
A vivid dream that might actually be reality is up next at number 6. This story comes from Nicholas Simons, and thank you so much for sending this in. Thank you to every single person that submitted stories into us. Well, this is what you wrote. When I was younger, I had a night I vividly remember. We lived out in the country, and this is when I had finally gotten my own room. In the middle of the night, it looked like a duck head had formed out of my blanket, and periodically it would peck at my bed, make a noise, and then stare at me. This had scared me enough that I had left my bedroom to sleep in a chair in the living room. But I could see my doorway, and in it I saw was pitch black nothingness with brightly colored eyes closing and opening in various spaces in the doorway staring at me. The chair was facing this and had scared me enough to get up and move one final time. This time I had moved to my parents' room, however it would only be for a while before I slept. At this time coming into the bedroom, it was like searchlights were searching for me. Soft white lights like searchlights were coming from beyond the door to my parents' room. No matter how much I wanted to sleep, I couldn't at all. All I can do is stare at the doorway and hope I was safe. I eventually passed out and morning had arrived. Nothing to this degree had ever happened again for a while. To this day, I feel like the trailer is haunted, despite everyone telling me what happened was just my imagination. Okay, how long ago did this happen? Have you been back to that trailer ever since? I for sure would have peed the bed if I saw something staring at me, but maybe it was like a duck and nothing else. I mean, that's what I would keep telling myself. It was only a duck. It's only a duck. But I can't really explain the soft white lights in your doorway. Maybe it was a possessed duck, or maybe it was a Slender Man. The evaporating ghost that was caught staring at you at night is next up at number 5. This frightening story comes from Irvin Esmavib. Here's my story. There was a time when me and my wife are sleeping at their family house. I felt the urge to pee. I slowly opened my eyes, and there at my feet sitting a girl looking at me. She seemed soulless. Her eyes are deep black, looking directly into my soul. Her skin has cracks and its color is the same with ashes of burnt wood. Her dress is long and it's dark. I want to scream to jump out of bed or even wake my wife up, but I can't. I can't move. I can't scream, and I remember I can't even breathe. All I can do is prey on my thoughts. Slowly I can move my toes, my fingers, and there finally I jumped out of bed. I instantly switched on the lights and saw an evaporating smoke when I saw this ghost, and nope, I wasn't dreaming. Imagine if all of this was caught on camera. I mean, that would be absolutely insane and more people would believe you. But you know what? I believe you. I believe this actually happened, because why not? How is it possible that millions of people have seen something? And how is it that every time I play the Ouija board and the thing moves and spells things out? I wonder if there was a little girl in your town or area that passed away. Maybe someone you might know in the family or friend when you were younger. Maybe the ghost has unfinished business. I mean, who knows?
At number 4 is the family friend, and this one was shared with us by Hades Asphodel, and they said, this is my true scary story. I was 18 when my family moved to Texas. It was after I graduated and stayed home most of the day as I looked for a job. My parents loved to go out at night and play the slot game, so I was left home alone at night quite a bit. It didn't bother me as I was used to it. It started out as knocking and the sounds of doors opening and closing. When I would go to check, nobody would be home, so I brushed it off as me just being paranoid. It wasn't until I started to hear whistling and words in my ear that I started to freak out. I told my mom and she brushed it off as me trying to scare her. One night I had finished showering and got dressed, and as I walked to my room I had to pass the living room and saw my parents home with a family friend. I went to say hi, but my mom looked at me, her face white as was my father's and the family friend. What? I asked, confused by the looks, and my mom asked me how did I get to the bathroom. I was even more confused as there was no way for me to get to the bathroom without passing the living room. I told her I'd been in the bathroom this whole time taking a shower as I pointed to my head. Why? They all looked at each other and then my closed bedroom door. Someone was knocking on your door. We thought it was you. I even called for you to stop. I walked to my room and opened my door and no one was in my room. I turned and looked at my mom and said, now do you believe me? Why do parents never believe kids? We're always right, I swear. Now honestly, as soon as you mentioned a family friend, I knew things were about to go very wrong, and they did. I actually thought the family friend was gonna be like a ghost, and I thought your parents were gonna be like, there's no one else in the room. Like, I really want to know what words you were hearing before all this happened. Like, at first even I was like, are they just imagining things? So I'm sorry I snaked you there as well. That's just so creepy. Like, I hope you didn't stay in your room that night. I know I wouldn't have been able to. I would have been like, mommy, daddy, here I am.
Frozen in Time is up next at number 3. This story comes from Ashima Diva Traveler. This is what they wrote. I have a story. I was about 5 or 6 when this happened to me. I'm not sure if it was sleep paralysis or something else, but I shared a room with my older sister, and one night I woke up, but I couldn't move, and the walls were this airy red color, and there were comedy and tragedy faces on the wall. Some laughing, some crying, some yelling at me saying I'd done something wrong, and I was absolutely bawling my eyes out and my head was throbbing with pain. Soon after my mom came in, but the faces gone quiet and just staring at me and faded away when my mom took me out of the room. I don't know what to think about that, but I never felt the same.
Every night, countless people wake up, unable to move. Their minds and bodies in the throes of a real condition called sleep paralysis.
So I think sleep paralysis is a lot more common than we think. Have you ever experienced it?
No, I haven't, but I feel like I've had a lucid dream. Is that the same thing?
It's like, so I've had it a couple of times when I was younger, but it's like you're dreaming.
Yeah.
But like your eyes are awake.
Okay.
So you can see like your room or anything like that, but you can't move.
Okay, I've definitely had that, and I felt like maybe I was just too tired to get up. Like, I physically could not move my body. Like, I couldn't, I was like, just get up, just get up.
And I used to have those dreams like often. I can't remember what the dreams were, but I was so frustrated all the time. Like, what? Like, I can't move.
I can't move.
And then I get up and I'm so sore and I'm so tired still. Yeah, it's the weirdest feeling.
Oh my god.
And I found out, so I actually have one friend who I might be bringing in. He has it currently all the time.
Every night?
Like, I think so.
Oh my god.
So I wanna see like how he feels and what dreams he's been having.
But like, do you see things when
yeah. Like you're still dreaming. Like you're
dreaming but your eyes are open.
Yeah, it's weird.
Dude.
It's weird.
No.
It's
No.
I don't choose to have it.
Now at number 2 are the black figures. This one was shared by one of our YouTube subs called Random Gamer. This is what they said. My scary story. This is recent and to do with my little boy who's 14 months old. My son is normally pretty good about going to sleep, but recently he's been struggling to sleep. So a few nights ago I'm sat in silent reading on my phone with his baby monitor next to me, and he began to babble away to himself and laugh. After a while he began to cry like he'd been hurt. So just before I got up to go to him over the monitor, I hear, "Shh, I didn't mean to scare you." I know it couldn't be my son as he's 14 months old and can't even talk. I ran in there so quickly and there was nobody in this room except my son. I picked him up, hugging him, and as I walked out the room with him, he began to wave to someone. My son is now sleeping in my room with me and my partner. I'm too scared to leave him in there now. Sorry for the grammar mistakes. That's all good. It happens. This is literally paranormal activity. right here. I read this one at home alone at midnight and it made me look around my house like just in case someone was there. That is honestly the most terrifying thing I can think of for like a random person or spirit or force to be with your baby that you can't even see. I honestly would have moved house and used a flamethrower on the baby monitor, honestly. Kudos to you for still living there. Kudos to you. You've got balls.
And now at number 1, we have a very terrifying story from a police officer, like I told you guys in the intro. Well, the story comes from Wakizu, and thank you so much for sending this in, and thank you so much for your services. It's so scary being a police officer, and you put your life on the line every single day, and sometimes you just don't get the respect you deserve. Well, this is what they said. I work as a police officer in Romania in 112, like 911 in America. And one night I received a call for a burning house where a 35-year-old woman died. The corpse was in a horrific condition, although her husband tried to save her. He was transported to intense therapy. The next night, I was home watching some horror gameplays on YouTube in the jump scare, and I saw her and even felt the smell of burning flesh. I rewatched the video but never saw her again. The next day, I met up with my partner who said that they had the same dream. They were able to smell the same scent of burning flesh exactly around 1 a.m. when I was watching the video. Later that day, we were told the husband who tried to save his wife died that night around 1 a.m. In 3 years, I had many corpses and cases, but none like this. I think it's very hard being a police officer, and I mean, the things you must see is just unreal. I think it's insane that 2 different people are having the same dreams about this woman. Maybe she has a message that she wants to get out to her husband, but she is struggling. I don't even know what to say about that story. I'm just totally speechless.
Well, there you have it, guys. I just wanted to say thanks so much for watching. Thank you for submitting your stories. I feel like we all really enjoy reading them.
Yeah, so if you guys want to be a part of the next one, don't forget to submit your stories right now in the comment section below. I know a lot of you guys are watching this on a premiere right now. Make sure you don't put it on the premiere part of it. Make sure it's in the comment section of this video.
Because then I'll just get lost.
Yeah, in the premiere it'll just get lost. And once the premiere is done, I think it just erases anyways. So make sure it's in the comment section. But thank you so much for watching, guys. I was your host, Landon Do Not Sing.
I'm Eamon Hassan.
I was hoping you didn't say
Oh, I'm Eamon.
Do not
Eamon,
sing.
do not sing.
And we'll see you guys all next time.